got you. You're not alone. When the weight feels heavy and the road is long, you've been holding on, trying to stay strong. Doctors and paperwork, so much to face, but here you found a safer place. You're not alone.
Good day, Brian Terry in here, and welcome to our Wednesday YouTube live. Thank you for the
Hi.
intro music, Nadine. Love it. Good to have you here, Philip. Great to have you here today. Um, Folks, we're making a big change here at the Disability Digest, and that's what I'm going to announce here for you today. We've been doing this work this is the 19th year. I started doing this in June, 19 years ago. Actually, the official launch was June 26. So today I'm going to go through with you in this event, like the changes that we're going to do that ideally will help you serve you better to help you get your benefits, keep them and maximize them. So that's on tap. Then after that, we are going to take some questions, questions you may have about the transition that we're going through, or questions about your own personal situation. Maybe you have a continuing disability review, or you want to go back to work, or your question about applying for disability. So, Nadine, would you care to explain to the audience out there the process for submitting questions?
Yeah, so there are two ways for you to ask questions. So first, you can drop your questions in the comment, so Brian can answer that live, or you can also join us in our Zoom call. I'll be dropping the link for the Zoom meeting later in the comment section as well. And just a reminder, we would appreciate if you change your Zoom name to be the same with your YouTube name so that when you put in your questions, we would know that it's you who's trying to join and that it is your question. So, yeah, um, we are looking forward for that session with you later.
Yes, we are. We are. I would also like to know like where everybody's participating from. So if you would like drop your state. See if there's been anybody from Vermont out there, which rarely happens, but I'm always entertained when there is. So first of all, I want to share my screen and address the major challenge that is faced with disability applicants. And that's not it right there. It's this right here. So this is a website that Social Security keeps updated with their annual statistics. I'll put this in chat so that you can share it with people, Nadine.
Sure.
And there's several things that are going on, but right now, let's first of all, before I get into the statistics, talk about the challenges at Social Security. They've had and lost like about 10,000 jobs. And part of that has been people taking early buyouts, the whole Doge thing, um, and the culture there is a really challenging one for people to work. So what's happening is we have a reduced labor force there, and what you're looking at here is the number of disability applications from 2010 through 2024. So you'll see it's 1.9 million. And out of those 1.9 million, 629,000 get approved. I think that's around 30, let's say 35%. So 35% of the people that are seeking their disability benefits are getting them. So if you're out there going through the process, or if you're thinking about going through the process, please pay attention to that. Those are not good odds, and they can significantly increase with what I'm going to share with you in a few moments. So that's one. The other thing is those that are on benefits, if you look at the terminations over here, they did drop a little bit last year down to 778,000. But we have to keep in mind that in 2024, there was a hiatus or a pause put on the continuing disability reviews by Commissioner O'Malley. And he took the focus of the energies to do those continuing disability reviews and put them over on the approval side to drop the numbers and the wait time. So the 778 back in this new administration, I fully expect that to be increased. So here at the Disability Digest, part of the work that we do is to help you understand how to keep your benefits. So we have a low approval rate and we have the CDRs. So that's the problem. And maybe you're already aware of this if you've been, especially if you've been hanging out here for a while. So how do you fix the problem? How we attempt to fix it here at the Disability Digest is we provide these live events. And we've been doing this, I don't know, Philip, at least a year, right?
At least a year, yeah.
So we have this and we have other that are other no-cost resources that that we provide. And then we have our membership, when our membership is there's no charge for the membership. People join as the member and they get the opportunity to speak to an advocate. And when they speak to an advocate, the advocate gets a clear understanding of their situation, gives them some validity to their request for benefits, and then puts them into a course that they can use to get their benefits approved. Or if they're already approved, they help them understand if they're paying for things that they don't need to be paying for, or what they could do to maximize their income, or could they go back to work. So that's the events that we have here, there's no charge for them. And then the membership that we have, there's no charge. Now we are a for-profit, like you'll see ads on the videos that we do. We're in the partnership program with Google. And we also provide services, like we'll provide disability representation services if it's a fit for us to work with somebody. And they would like representation. We do a fantastic job. We've been doing this for a long time and we win at an exceptional rate. But that's optional. Many thousands of people have used the course on their own. And on those that are approved side, we have individuals that are experienced in that. So here's where the breakdown is and where the change is going to come. Is the information gives us an indication that people come to these events, or maybe they watch a video or two, and then they leave. They're like, oh, I got it. I got it all figured out. But the data that I just showed you indicates otherwise. Now, certainly those are large numbers and we're not going to impact them all. But if people don't come here and watch a video and learn about us, which is what the intent is, if they don't get involved in a membership, speak with an advocate, get in the appropriate course and support group, then there's on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 no value, 10 value, they're right around maybe a 2. So watching a video and attending here is not going to help you. We'd like to think it is, and that's our introduction, and there's segments of it. It's really, if you are serious about your disability benefits, then that's the position that we're in. Now, you could be price apprehensive. I don't know if that makes sense. If you could be concerned about the pricing, but we don't charge for the membership. And the information is, the disability approval course is free. But I believe that's part of it. So here's the change that we're making. We're going to make a better point to make sure that you understand that just by coming here or just by watching a video is part of the equation. The videos that we've been producing have been 3 to 5 minute segment videos, which is going to change. They're going to be more like a 60-second snippet. So in today's environment, the attention span is becoming less and less. So we're going to provide you with shorter content, snippets of information so that you can get, an idea of what's going on. And I'm going to use just one segment of the disability approval process as an example here. But again, the point is in these videos that you can follow a specific playlist that we're going to have that will be relevant to you. So if you're working full-time, there will be a flow of information from what to do while you're still working all the way through the time that you apply. If you're not working and you want to know what information you need to get together and to apply, or if you even qualify, that'll be another segment of information. This is all be on our YouTube channel, already has started. And then the third one will be what to do if you've applied and waiting. I'm going to come back to this one. And then what to do right after you're approved. And then within the first 30 days, there's some key things that you should do right after you're approved in the first 30 days. People want to go back to work. There'll be a segment about that. And then people are petrified about their continuing disability reviews. So what you need to do to keep your benefits. So that'll give you the kind of vibe. Then there'll be like policy updates, what's going on with Social Security and the changes will fall into another area. But let's just take what I consider to be the most vulnerable area for of the process, which is for those that have applied and waiting. The mindset is they apply, or one applies over the phone and or online, and then once they have their application in the system, they're going to listen to their brother-in-law who says just apply and see what happens, and then after that do something. This sets people up for just atrocious results in my experience. So in that one segment of information, or try to prioritize the number of things that you can do to maximize your chances. But I'm just going to say that the first 26 are absolute must-dos, right? There's 26 things, not all of them apply to everybody, but in that one playlist, you'll get like 26 different things. How to fill out the work history form, how to fill out the daily living functionnaire, what to say and do when you go to your doctors, how to explain that you qualify, just on and on and on. So you'll get those little concept nuggets, but really the information that's going to show you what to do is when you join as a member, discuss your situation with an advocate, they put you into the disability approval course. You can actually see the courses. It shows you like exactly what to do, how to fill out a form, what to do when you go to the doctors, all of that. So that's going to be the new format. We're also going to be adjusting some of the questions that we answer, like on our YouTube channel. We'll still answer some questions, but the level of detail I feel is deceiving because it leaves people in a situation where they're like, oh, I've got the answer I need. That's all I need. I'm on my way, right? So that's our position and going forward. If you have questions on this, I'd love to hear it. The one thing I do want to emphasize in closing is since I started doing this 19 years ago, I feel this information should be free, readily available to anybody who wants to use it. And it is that way. And I just want to make sure you clearly understand that thousands of people have used our disability approval course to get approved on their own, saved all the legal fees. And people have used, for example, our continuing disability review course to help them understand how to prepare and survive their continuing disability review. So there's 6 really key courses, that's 6, that we have that fall into these categories. It'll all continue to remain at no cost to you, right? Just a different delivery format. so that hopefully this will resonate with you. Say, oh, well, that makes sense. It's not going to cost me anything. I get to speak with somebody who's experienced in this, and I get the tools that I need. Everybody wins. That's our goal, right? Good. Shall we transition?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. How about this, Philip? You have some questions from your group today. By the way, if you haven't heard, Philip Price runs one of the largest, fastest growing Facebook groups that provides support for individuals going through the approval process. And actually, this is a good example. If you're in Philip's group, great, welcome. If you're not, encourage you to join. And that group allows you to connect and kind of support and commiserate with others in the group. But what the group doesn't do is just what I explained. It doesn't provide the detailed step-by-step how to action that's going to make a difference for you. Okay, so let's hit some questions.
Give me
Yeah.
a second.
You
Here
can
while
You can have 2 seconds.
I'm lost. I've only done this 100 times.
That's all right. I know the feeling. All right, we got somebody from Florida out there. I was just there. It's hot. Uh-huh. Jack. John, thanks for the comment. We'll address
John.
that in a minute.
All right.
Kentucky's in the house. Zippy. All right, we ready to roll?
Ready to roll. This first one's a little long, so bear with me on it.
Okay, I hope I get it.
All right. It says I have a hearing in July. I haven't worked in over a year. Our finances are impossibly tight and getting tighter each month. It seems I've asked my lawyer if I could get a job. And he said it would make a mess of the application. The response was short and vague, saying how they couldn't advise me, but if I made over a certain amount it could potentially lead to being denied. But then they also mentioned how I could put on a trial work, be put on a trial work period for 9 months. The whole thing is confusing to me, and I feel like that I am reading between the lines. Is it really, or shouldn't I work? They've got some of the stuff mixed up here, but
I think I got the gist of it though, unless there's
yeah,
other key points. Let me
yeah,
see. Let's recap. Hearings coming up in July. That's not that far away. And finances are tight. Get it. Only's been out of work a year though. That's not that bad to get to a hearing.
yeah.
I don't know what state you're in. That would be good to know, but it's probably you don't have interaction. This is my position on this. I feel that you've been giving some decent advice because um, you're attempting to prove that you cannot work. And if you are to work like this close to your hearing when you've gone all of this time, um, then it's going to be difficult to get a job, and you'll likely you could still be in that job when the hearing comes up. And that could just be enough for the judge to say, you know what? I see you're on the road to recovery, denied. So a word of caution on this. So what do you do about your financial problems? Um, was it last week? We just did a whole series on things you can do to survive, and maybe some of them do or they don't apply to you, but I would encourage to go back and listen to that event. And these are items that we've collected from members. Right, really short term, if you're super pressed, one of the things is see if you can leverage some of the back money that you're going to get from your decision and get a loan against it from friends, family, or if you're renting, maybe your landlord will give you a bump and a hit there. Um, because you're still looking at a July hearing. Your decision letter will come 60 days after if everything goes well. So that's July, August. September. It could be November, December before you start getting paid. That's just the reality of the pipeline that we're in. So you need to you need to find a way to close that gap and be careful about the risk. Let's talk about post-award, and maybe it won't be an issue. Maybe you'll have enough money to make it work, but a trial work period is where you go back to work and try to work full-time. And this is where I don't agree with the advice that you were given. Because going back to work, ideally you should try to gradually go back to work on a on a limited basis, or even volunteer to see if your body can handle that before you try to go back to work from no work to full-time work. And the trial work period is something that you could explore once you're on benefits, in my opinion, but you'd be better off to find something to do part-time. So I have one more point I want to make on this, Philip, is that there are times in the disability application process where strategically it could make really good sense to try to work. And like right now, summer here in the north, and I expect for everywhere else. And so there's summer help that people need. There's transition help. So if you look at this, and we're going to talk more about this in a couple weeks, but you could take a short-term opportunity at like a greenhouse or mowing lawns or something that's time sensitive, test your work ability. And if it doesn't work out, then that would be a failed work attempt. And that actually could be beneficial evidence for your disability case. Say, listen, tried to work. All I had to do is get on my John Deere, and I was, mowing lawns, or I was working for somebody, but I couldn't even do that. I lasted like 3 weeks and it was crushing me. So that's where you could use the work experience and test it seasonally. So good question, long answer. Hope it helps.
Long question. All right, next one. It says, I'm working on my initial online application for SSDI at this time without a lawyer. And I have a question. If I believe I meet a listing, should I specify this in my remarks, or is this something they will determine according to my medical records and inability for SGA?
Not sure what the listing is, but if it's a listing that's like musculoskeletal or cancer or diabetes or brain health, then in our disability approval course, you can get the specifics and give you a better idea. What you don't want to do is put misleading information in there thinking that you qualify for a listing, and this is your first time doing this. I'm not questioning your knowledge or your research, but I'm just saying that the probability of getting it right, if you haven't done this before, is less than it would be for somebody that has. So word of caution in that. And also understanding a listing. Listings are confusing to the applicant, in my opinion, because somebody could say, like, here's a question that came in the other day. Somebody wrote in and said, I have pancreatic cancer. It's similar to Joe Biden. Do you think I would qualify? Good question. Well, if you have pancreatic cancer, that's one thing. If you have pancreatic cancer, that's stage 4, that's another thing. It's more severe. But even if you have those two, it doesn't mean that you qualify and meet a listing. Now, to meet a listing for cancer, and that pancreatic cancer, that cancer needs to have metastasized, which means it needs to have spread, impact your internal organs to a degree of severity, or your bones. And in addition to that, be preventing you with limitations from working. So where some people get confused and misled is they're like, oh, I have cancer. Cancer's a listing. But they're not trained to go and do the dig done. So this is where somebody that's trained professional to do this work can help you. So that's my answer to that one.
Okay. All right, Stuart asks, I've applied for SSDI in January of 24. I got approved in May of 25. I'm already receiving my regular retirement. How will they calculate my back pay?
Let me hear that train again. Applied when?
January of 24, approved May of 25.
When did he start taking
Early
Social
retirement.
Security early retirement?
Yeah, don't know.
So here's how it would work. I'll speculate. If you were not taking your Social Security retirement, your full monthly check would be your back benefit amount after 5 months, right? So let's see. So January, February, March, April, May. So basically there's 12 months of potential back benefits. This is a pretty good example because we're going to take the first 5 that Social Security knocks out as an elimination period. So 12 months of back benefits, let's say for the first 6 months, you were not on your Social Security retirement and your check amount for Social Security disability was $2,000. So 6 times 2 is how much? 12.
Oh,
12,000 for the first 6 months. And then let's say you took your early retirement, which is $1,500. So your back benefits now would only be the difference between 1,500 and 2,000. So for 6 months, it's going to be 6 times 5, 3,000. So we have 12,000 for the first 6, and then 3,000 for the second, 15,000 in my example. That's the concept. So here at the Disability Digest, if did he say it was approved?
Applied. Yes, approved.
All right. Here at the Disability Digest, members get access to a benefit review, which is you fill out a form, you request a review, and a trained expert in benefits and Medicare insurance will review your award letter, your back pay, your Medicare eligibility, what you should be paying for, what you're entitled to. All of that stuff. There's no charge. It's part of your membership here at the Disability Digest. So that's something I would encourage you to take advantage of. If you join us as a member, or maybe you already are, then if you haven't seen that or you missed it, just contact support.
All right, ready for the next one?
Still standing.
All right. Jacob says, when you do get approved, but not very much, not for very much, are you allowed to appeal that, or will they take away what I do make a month from SSDI? So I guess he's asking if you're approved and it's not what you're expecting, can you appeal that?
This is kind of the Mike Hatterton story, right, Mike? All right, Phil?
Exactly. Just like
Yeah.
mine.
Just like Mike. You have the right to appeal. It's risky. And my experience in appealing these, I have seen situations where if you question the back pay, which is usually the amount that is disputed because they adjust the onset date. And the onset date is the date that you submitted in your application that you were disabled, felt you were disabled because of your work or qualified, but they changed it. So they have the right to, and they do, for some reason, it just makes no sense, shut all of the benefits off. Say, you know what, we've changed our mind. Folks, it's crazy, but it happens. So you have to understand the risk involved in doing that. Now, if they do turn your benefits off, you have the right to appeal that and go back to court. And that usually you're able to get them reinstated because they were approved once. But you could be without monies for however long if you have to go back through and appeal and get to a hearing.
Yeah.
That's the risk. I would one of the suggestions I would have is if you have somebody look at the probability of your onset date being adjusted. Like if you used representation, that'd be the first place I'd go. Have them look at it.
All right, last one here. Said, should I apply by mail or online for the reconsideration appeal?
I like online. The ability for Social Security to get and manage mail is less reliable than digital.
Okay, that was the last one for today. Last
Okay.
one. Want to kick it over to Nadine, see what she's got.
Over to Nadine.
All right. So we come to our favorite part of the show. We wanted to have you join us live. If you have questions or even if you just want to share a success story, we would love to have you join us live. So I'm now dropping the link for Zoom so that you can join along with the instructions that we would love for you to follow so that we would be able to um, better help you with whatever concern that you have. But before we get into that, Brian and Philip, while we are waiting for someone to join us live, I do have a few questions here that I'd like to ask. So first, this is from John. I think you've had a glimpse of this earlier, Brian. He said he filed for disability, but only to find out today that SSA put him in social security early retirement
Well, what do you think the
instead of
question is
disability.
here?
Mm. I think the question would be, would he still qualify for disability now that he is already receiving early retirement?
Right. Well, the qualification we don't know because you have to go through the process and the evaluation and all of that. But if the question is that he was put in the wrong benefit, then you could just advise them and say, I didn't want early retirement. I wanted to apply for my Social Security disability. You could keep it in place and pursue your Social Security disability benefits. And then when you get your Social Security disability benefits approved, you would change from the pay rate that you currently have to your disability amount. However, however, you don't win your disability case, you're stuck with your current check amount.
Mm,
So that's what you have to evaluate. Yeah. I
okay.
expect if you communicated that there was a error made, that you could get it sorted out.
Mhm. Okay. All right. John, I hope that answers your question. Now we have another question from Frank and Melissa Wheeler. Uh, I'm not entirely sure what the question is about, but it says, what do you say during your daily activities? I think this member is asking about the daily function report.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, well, the short answer is you want to make sure you answer that form impeccably accurate because that is the foundation of your disability case. If you do not get approved at the initial or reconsideration stage and go to a hearing, the judge is going to be asking you questions that are based on the information that you put in that form. So how to answer those, Nadine, I'm just giving you the co-host
Oh, okay.
bless. The directions on how to answer those, we have in our disability approval course. So I'll explain how you get to that, and then I'll give you a few tips. When you join us as a member, fill out your profile, you're in the applied and waiting stage, you'll communicate that in your membership profile, an advocate will contact you, put you into the disability approval course. They'll tell you exactly what section that you need to use to go in and listen to or watch a video. That is an interview I did with attorney Carl Osterhow that takes you through that form step by step and gives you advice on how to structure your answers. And like when it gets to the end in the remarks section, what you should or should not put in there. So the general concept from Attorney Osterhow is that you want to be very concise and in most cases provide one word answers to the questions. So that the one word concise approach is going to communicate to Social Security directly and not give them the ability to go through like 3 sentences of an explanation on do you do cooking or grocery shopping or pay your bills and interpret it in the wrong way. Short, concise answers. So Disability Digest membership, fill out your profile, contact an advocate, get into the course, watch the video, complete the forms, and then you're on your way. There's multiple other steps that you'll need to follow after that to maximize your chances, but that'll get you started.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, I saw someone named Jinky trying to join us live for Zoom. If you can try to rejoin, and I would appreciate if you could also drop in your question in the YouTube comment so that we would have an overview about what your concern or question is about. So while we wait for that, because I think she left the Zoom room, we have another question here from Rich Me. Um, any good change happening for, or yeah, any changes for SSDI? Asking for a good change to be expected for SSDI.
A good change? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
you mean internally for Social Security? You get paid
Yep.
every month. That's no change. But the thing is um, it is a reliable benefit program. And I'm not answering this question directly because I really don't have any like good news, things that are changing. It is realistic, probable to get and keep your benefits if you do the right thing. That's the best I can answer that question. Yeah.
All right. Another question here. This one is from Facebook. I have an income, but was never properly instructed on reporting it. It's not a job. It is a residual income, and I don't have a set schedule when or if I get a random call that yields me income. Can they force me to backtrack in reporting during the time they fail to instruct me?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out, like, is this person going through the application process?
The person didn't mention, but it looks like he or she's already receiving um,
Social Security?
SSDI. Yeah.
And the word residual, is it residual? Is that right?
Well, yeah, residual, like probably commissions from the previous work that she had.
Okay. I'm just gathering my thoughts on how to answer this. And here, it really depends on the type of income that we're not certain of right now, so I'll speak to
Hmm.
it that way. Um, there was an individual, Mike, whose interviews on our YouTube channel,
Hmm.
who was in the insurance industry, and
Hmm.
he um, had insurance residuals of $2,200 a month, which is over the allowed amount to even apply for disability. But he was able to go through the disability approval process, get approved, keep all of his clients and his income. And the reason for that is that insurance income was categorized by his tax professional as residual income, as it should be. So residual income is not earned income. It's income that you did something at some time in the past to generate and earn. Now, if Mike went out and created a new client, income from that new client would be considered SGA. So the question to you, whoever submitted it, I forget the name, is how is the income categorized by your tax professional? Or hopefully you've been paying your taxes and filing taxes on it. And that's going to determine how that will interact with your allowed amount to earn at Social Security. Yep. And
Okay.
by the way, a great way to supplement your income is with insurance income because of the residual factor, right?
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. We have another question here from Joe. I'm trying for SSDI, 44 years old, waiting on a hearing with a judge. I have all bilateral lateral ep- epicondylus. I have bilateral tennis elbow cubical tunnel syndrome, um, chronic migraines, DDD, severe bilateral foraminal stenosis, waiting for a hearing date, no education. What are my chances?
Do either one of you, Philip or Nadine, want to weigh in on this presentation of the question?
Sure. Sounds like he's got a list of conditions there, but I didn't hear anything on the limitations.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, Joe, I think what Philip and Brian is trying to say that it's not really about the conditions, but what are the specific limitations or the manifestations of these conditions that limits your daily function and your capability to do any type of work. That's what you would want to communicate to SSA.
Yeah.
You're
Well,
asking what your odds are. There's no
Yeah.
way to tell you what odds are. Is they're just like anybody else's that's going through the same situation. You're going to have to uh, convey what your limitations are, how all of those conditions affect your ability to be able to work
yeah.
and even normal everyday activity.
Yeah. My my two things are you use the word trying to get disability. I'd take that out, say I'm going through the approval process. Two is I don't feel your odds based on your communication are strong at all because you don't understand what to say and communicate to get approved. Just straight up facts. So if you're just tuning into this channel, or this program, I'd go back to the beginning, listen to what was presented, follow the steps, get in the disability approval course. There's a section in there that will tell you like how to craft a 2 sentence statement to communicate that you qualify. Said he was going for a hearing. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're going to need that for sure.
Yep. All right. So I have another question here. I know someone who applied for SSDI but had to work while waiting, made over the limit for 1 month. Just got approved in April 2025 for medical, but in final non-medical, is this considered? I don't know what UWA means. That's part of the question. This person,
Unsuccessful work attempt, probably.
oh, okay. This person hasn't gotten full approved yet. Will this disqualify them? They are not working now, but still going through applications process.
It could. Depends on like there's so many variables. Like how many months did they work? There was 1 month that was over. Was she earning $200 a month in the other months? There's just so many variables here. What was the work that they were doing? Um, I just don't know. Also, on the other hand, it could be beneficial for the reasons that I stated earlier. Yeah.
Okay. All right, that was the last question from the comments, but we do have a shout out here from Gloria. She said, "This channel is so helpful. I've learned so much in less than 3 months. Been listening to it. Thank God for people like you all." Thanks so much, Gloria.
Thank you, Gloria.
You.
All right.
You have somebody that is in the waiting room.
Yeah, we have Jinky. She hasn't sent her question, but would you allow me to let her in, Brian?
Sure. Let's see what's
All
going on
right.
with Jinky.
Hi, there she is. Hi, Jinky. There. Hi there.
Hi.
You're at the beach.
Oh, just that's a background only.
That's all right. Nice to meet you. How can we help you?
Well, I have a lot of questions, but uh,
Let's start with one.
mm, maybe I will get back because I cannot think of my question at the moment.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Are you are you approved for disability benefits? Trying to get
Oh,
approved?
I am approved for disability.
Okay,
Um, I'm trying to get back to work to get extra income.
good.
I
Okay.
it's hard for me to do the work I used to do. And one of my fear is if I if I make something that would um, reach the minimum amount or maximum amount of,
Hmm?
I might lose my disability benefit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's because my disability benefit is better, but it's not enough for my monthly expenses.
Right. You know, Jinky, I thank you for sharing that. I can confidently say that you are not alone with the challenges of living on a fixed income. Are you aware that you can earn a certain amount of money every month and it will have no impact on your benefits? They can certainly question it, but if you're within the guidelines, then you would keep your benefits. Were you aware of that?
I am aware, but that's to amount. What is that? As to monthly amount.
The monthly amount?
Yeah, that I should not pass.
Well, there's the allowed amount, which, what's the number again? I should know this. 1,150?
1150, yes.
Yeah.
$1,150. Okay, so that's the allowed amount, but if you're earning right in that range, even in my opinion, that's suspicious. But if you're earning like $700, $800 a month, then right in that zone, I think that's, you know, you're good there. I'll share my experience. Here at the Disability Digest, I've had disability recipients working here since 2007, right after we started. And for the entire time, there's been a blend of disability recipients and others that are not disability recipients. And yes, people do get reviewed, but nobody has lost their benefits as a result of working here, and their earnings have been consistent. There's been people that have been here that have been disability recipients for 5, 6, 7 years. So that's evidence that, yes, if you stay within a certain range, you can do it. Now, if you wanted to do something that just to make some extra money and wasn't like work related, then we have a refer a friend program here where you can refer somebody to the Disability Digest, and we will work with them to help them get through the disability approval process, and you earn up to $200 doing that.
Mm.
So there's 1.9 million people that try to get their benefits every year, and as I showed, there's 600 and something thousand that get them. A lot of people don't know how to do it right. They quit. And so, if that could be a way for you and for others as a way to help individuals, and we're glad to pay back some money. So that's one way. And that income we can pay to you as a gift card. And so it doesn't actually count as income. We could also pay it to you in or by Venmo if you would like it in spendable income. It's an option for you. So, but if a job is the way that you're headed, stay within the allowed amount.
Yeah, I was actually I see that your advocate job and I'm like, maybe I'm too ambitious. I wa- I was thinking of joining it, but I'm not very good at tech, like techie stuff. So it's like it's that's my
Yeah. Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, I mean, that position does certainly require the ability to communicate verbally and, electronically. And perhaps that's not a fit, but maybe the referral partner or the referral program is, or other things. Another idea is vocational rehabilitation has benefit planners you can go and meet with. Sometimes it takes a while to get in touch with one, but they'll go through and give you an assessment of what they believe you could do, could not do, and even provide you with some additional resources. And there's no charge for that.
Where do you go for that?
Um, so we've done different media pieces on it, but you could just simply do a Google search
Okay.
for the vocational rehabilitation facility in your area. That's one. The other thing is Centers for Independent Living. You could start there and get a referral. And Nadine, if you could grab the link to the Centers for Independent Living and put that in the chat. And this is a separate organization that could also help you with job-related activities. And they're funded by the government. They're for people that are, they service disability recipients, elderly, like the organization here in Vermont has women of domestic violence support. So you can go there, meet with somebody, explain what you would like to do. They'll help you with a plan, point you in the right direction. That's another way to do it.
Yeah, because as of this moment, I'm doing some reselling like eBay because I used to do it before I had a stroke.
Mm-hmm.
So that I've been doing, but it's not making the income that I need to have.
Right. Well,
Mm.
listen, what I like is that you're doing something and you said that you're making some income, right?
Yeah, but it's day to day or month to month basis, and it's not making a budge of then.
Yeah,
Or maybe I just need to post more
could
to
be.
sell.
Could be. I don't know much about about that. Um, so you had a stroke, and is that one of the reasons why you are now a disability recipient?
Yeah, yeah. I had a stroke and two brain surgeries.
Mm-hmm.
I was diagnosed with moya moya, which is a rare brain disease.
Hmm.
My sometimes my speech, um, most of the time it's better, but if I'm like if I'm stressed or tired, I
Yeah.
I notice some stuttering, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Where are you? Like where in the States are you? What state?
I'm in Arizona.
Arizona. Are you from Arizona?
No, I'm from the Philippines, but
Oh,
I moved here 1992. I was in Illinois for 9 years and then more than 20 years here in Arizona.
okay. Where in the Philippines are you from?
I'm from Mindanao.
Yeah,
Oh, hi
yeah.
there. I'm from
Hello.
Mindanao.
Oh, where? From Oroqueta City,
Oh,
Osamis,
okay.
that area, Dipolog, if you hear that
Yeah.
three places. Yeah.
Do you two know each other?
No,
No.
but we can probably speak the same language. Are you
Yes.
Bisaya?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
me too. I,
Yes.
I don't I don't know that you're from the Philippines, Nadine.
Mm,
Oh, okay.
yes, that's great. Well, I thank you for joining us. I would welcome you to come back on another show and give us an update.
All right.
Posting more centers for independent living, right? Have you joined us as a member here at the Disability Digest?
I did.
Okay, great. Um, and I don't know how else do you have contact information, Nadine, for Jinky or no?
Yeah, you can chat me your email address here in the Zoom chat so that I'll be able to check on your membership and make sure that it's updated and you receive all the information
Yeah.
that could help you. Yeah.
One of
Thank
the other
you.
things that I would suggest that you do is have our team here review your benefits to see if you're paying for things that you shouldn't. And if there's other benefits that you're entitled to, that's a quick way to change your cash flow. Um, so Nadine can look up your membership, and if
Yeah.
you'd like, we could do that for you.
Oh, one more question before um yeah, as far as the insurance, I have disability with Medicare Advantage, and most of the doctors that do my moya moya doesn't take that. Is there? Can I take a supplement insurance, although it's out of my budget right now?
Um, that's something we can look into without, there's so many variables in this, Jinky, but it could be that you could move to another Medicare Advantage plan where those doctors do accept it. There's different types of Medicare Advantage plans. Is your disability check over or under $1,500 a month?
It's over.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, certainly a supplement is an option, but they're so expensive. I mean,
Yeah,
like $700 a month if you're under 65.
yeah,
So,
that's that's the difficult thing because now I'm making like half of what I used to earn.
Yeah. What did
And
Yeah. So I would say this, we can go, Gloria, Daphne are marvelous. One of them would help you out. They can go through and look at what your options are. It's not something that I don't expect you'd be able to change right away until the fall with open enrollment, but at least you would know. And that's one area where you could say, okay, I've had everything reviewed. Um, okay.
all right. Yeah,
Uh,
I think
what did you do for work?
I used to be a nurse.
Oh, is that how you ended up here in the States?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Great. Great. Um, all right. Well, again, thank you. It's been a pleasure to meet
Thank,
you.
thank you very much.
Yep. Yep.
Thank you
And
so much, Jiggy.
come back and visit us. All
Maybe
right.
next year. Okay.
Thank you,
All
Jay.
right. Thanks much.
Thank you.
All right. So, yeah, Brian, we have a follow-up question from Joe. We answered his question earlier. He's the one who has a lot of conditions and asking for his chances for approval. He's asking if he have a hearing, should he have a statement ready, explaining to the judge how his condition affects his life?
Yes. It's called a brief, a pre-hearing brief, which should be written by your legal team. Um, we don't know if he has one, does he? Do we?
No, we don't know.
Um, yeah, if you are going or planning on going to a hearing on your own, this is one area where I feel very strongly, based on experience, that it's not worth it. You should really get somebody to go in and represent you. It's just a different language, like questions like this about the pre-hearing process. Um, but so
Oh,
what should happen is all your medical and your evidence is compiled into your case file before your hearing. It's evaluated, and then a methodical brief that's usually 2, 3 pages is written. It's submitted to the judge. The judge can look at that and say, okay, I got it. Opening statement. This is why this person can't work. These are the conditions and where the evidence is in the case file. That's the concept.
by the way, that person wants to join us live in the Zoom room right now. The
All right.
person who asked the question. Okay. Hi, Joe. Joe, if you
Joe,
can hear us.
go ahead.
I can.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that he might be on mute, so I might want to check his phone or if he's on his computer. Uh,
Can you hear me?
oh,
Yeah, we can hear you.
yes.
Okay, I am on my iPad. I don't know why I can't. Why you guys can't see me? Um.
Your audio is good. Nice to meet you, Joe.
There.
Welcome.
There you
There
are.
you are.
Okay. Thank you guys so much. This is so cool. I am so nervous right now. Like texting earlier, I didn't get to explain everything because I was just trying to throw out what I'm dealing with. But yeah, my daily routine limits me from doing basic things, brushing my teeth, cooking, looking down for 10 seconds, even sitting in church. I can't turn my head long to the right to look at the screen if the pastor's talking. I can't stand longer than 30 minutes. If I try to do the dishes, it feels like my whole body is just crushing down on me. I've done radio frequency ablations in my neck. I've done epidurals. I've had 2 ulnar surgeries on my right, one on my left. I've had one recent surgery on the de Quervain's testinovis. And these have been conditioned since 2019. I had a lot of problems with getting in with the doctors because of COVID. And I've had 5 EMGs, but all of them have came negative. And that was one thing that really, really ruined a lot of my stuff with work. This was a work injury. I was working there 17 years. I didn't get a lawyer for about 4 years because I was off for a few years because they were consecutive surgeries. And when I had that EMG and it said nothing was wrong, they used that against me. And not knowing I had lateral epicondylitis, deep square veins, and no doctors were telling me this, me going to numerous doctors, just telling them I can't text, I can't scroll, I cannot do all these, these things limit me from doing just daily functions. I also have chronic headaches. I couldn't talk for years. When I would talk,
Oh my God.
it exacerbated my headaches, right? Now, I never knew I had my spinal canal is narrowed down to 8 millimeters. Okay. I was constantly trying to get help. I went to neurologists. I went to different doctors. The head was fine. I was a vegan, so I thought maybe it was the food I was eating. Before any surgery, I went to my primary doctor, had my blood drawn, just to make sure these headaches weren't something that was, I was causing it. And what I thought it was every time I got active, because the headaches would come back, right? And what I feel now, it's because when I was a foreman for a construction company, I didn't have to do anything but lift this iPad that I had resting on my legs right now. That was the heaviest thing I had to lift. I gave up a $50 an hour job because I was in so much pain. I don't have an education. I just couldn't do it anymore. I had to just stop. And from that point, I couldn't see some other doctors because it was workman's comp. My primary doctor switched over to a different practice, and they were allowed to send me to other places. So I started getting all kinds of MRIs. I got sent to pain management. They started working on my neck and everything. But a lot of it is just so much trying to find out what I've been telling people since 2019. And it's been the same thing. And it makes it so hard to do physical therapy, because when I was trying to do physical therapy, it was affecting other parts. And for whatever reason, the therapists were pulling out their anatomy book. We were looking at parts of my arms, and they would tell me, well, what does the doctor say? And I said, they say nothing is there. I didn't know what they were talking about, but I guess they were talking about the MRI, that there was nothing there. I don't know what it was, but for whatever reason, I couldn't get other parts of my body. I didn't know the anatomy at the time. I do now. And if I knew then what I knew now, I probably wouldn't be in this position because I would have gotten the help. But I'm working on it, right? And I'm getting a lot further in these last year than I have 4 years, 5 years. But I've been denied twice. I don't know what to do.
I have a few questions for you. I can tell you're struggling with this, and first of all, I want to applaud you for sharing that. You said you were nervous, but I think you crushed it in communicating your situation. If you don't mind my asking, how old are you?
I'm 44.
44. Okay. So the fact that you've been denied twice is likely because of your age. It's a very general statement, but the thing is, when you're under 50, you need to prove that you can't do anything out there,
Yes.
right? And although you have physical, you've got some physical restrictions. It's just that's the fact. So now, when is your hearing? There's two areas I want to go. I want to go in the disability approval, tighten that up, and then I want to come back to your medical. Okay.
Okay.
So when is your hearing?
I haven't got a date yet. We are waiting for them to give us the date, and then we have 90 days to be ready.
Yep. Okay. When you say we, who's the other part of the we?
The lawyer, Nash, Nash Disability.
Okay. Okay,
I'm
good.
Chicago.
They're out of Chicago.
Yeah.
Okay. And did they work on your work comp or?
They did not.
Okay. All right. And is your work comp settled?
It is not. This has
Okay.
been 2 years. I'm still waiting.
All right. So are you getting any work compensation at all?
I have not had a penny since April of 2023.
Okay. All right. So I don't know Nash well, but I expect I do know that they've done this work for a while. Some of the things that you want to make sure that are in the workflow is that all of your what you feel is important medical records are in the file, and either Nash or Social Security can send you your case file. So you want to make sure the evidence is in there, and they're going to update that evidence, or they should. When they get a hearing date, they're going to request new medical records. And this may be a lot, but you can come back and listen to the replay of this. They should request new medical records that will pick up from when Social Security requested those at the initial application, from that date to the date that, they request them. So that might be, let's say it's 18 months, for example. So then you want to make sure all your medical is in there. Any other evidence that you've been advised to get, like doctor support forms, third-party evidence from employers, videos that show your physical limitations. These are all things that you'll learn, if you haven't already, from our disability approval course, that you could definitely take advantage of, to make sure that Nash is going to prepare you properly, right? So if you're not a member, join us as a member, fill out your profile, somebody will get you into the course and that. Then for hearing preparation, we have this segment of the disability approval course will educate you on the questions that you're going to be asked by the judge.
Okay.
And what your responses are, and some of the framework, like simple things like when you're asked a question, your first answer is not words. It's a deep breath, because if you answer right away, people panic, right? So so things like that you'll learn. So membership, if you're already a member, you can give Nadine your email address and chat here, and we'll tighten it up and make sure that you're in there. Or you can even do that now. We'll set you all up so that you have that information to work with Nash and follow the process. Okay. It's just really like you're convincing and speaking to why would a guy walk away from the income that you had, right? You have a family?
I do. I have a daughter that I supported through private school and college, but I can't do it. And we don't
Right.
know what to do this coming year.
Right. Right. I mean, that's super credible. So just, that's one of the things that if the judge is any good, they're going to really look at that.
And that's what I was hoping, because I don't know how they look at things, but I'm not saying nobody, right? But my world revolved around my daughter. I did everything and anything for her. And the last thing I would have done was walk away from basically a career with having an eighth grade education. I know some people it doesn't, but I was miserable. I couldn't do it. I was in so much agonizing pain. I just had to stop.
Yeah.
And I've been in construction since the age of 18. I've been in a union since 18, being a laborer. So my whole life has been, pretty physically rough. I had a pretty few run-ins with the police where they beat me up pretty bad. They slammed my face into the ground. So maybe that's where some of my neck issues come from.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was, that's something I was really, really wondering, is how do they look at your work career? I've literally worked since the age of 16, got into the union at 18, and have never been off until, this happened. And, this far in my life, You know, I could have retired at 55,
Yeah.
full pension. And this has just played a huge toll on me mentally, physically. I'm therapist. I'm on all kinds of medication. You
You're
know,
dealing with it.
I
You're
can't
dealing with it.
I can't get a lot of answers from the lawyers either. You know, I don't. This is like so. I'm like I said, I'm literally shaking right now because I feel like I'm.
Yeah.
It's just it's a lot, you know, and
So here's the thing, Joe, when you're in your hearing and adjusting your mindset, and anybody that's out there, what Social Security, especially judges, really want to get and understand from your vibe is what you just communicated to me. Like I had a great career. I'd like to be working. I have a daughter that I really wanted to support, right? So that when people go into a Social Security environment and the alternative is some people present it as an entitlement. I paid into this thing. I don't feel like working now, and kind of communicating that it's a whole different thing. And they're like denied, right? So just what you've done and what you've communicated to me, you want to lock that in, sync it, get a very short, concise statement about it. Let them understand what it is. If they want to ask you more questions to learn more, then they can,
okay,
right? But clearly communicate it. So that's one of your other steps. Now, for sake of time, I want to transition here before we wrap up, and I have a favor to ask you,
thank you.
right?
Yes.
This is totally optional. You don't need to do it. But there's a lot of people that are out there that have like challenges getting diagnosed. And it's not just people going through the disability approval process and seniors. And your story is beautiful. But what I'm asking of you is what do you have any advice for people that are maybe faced with a similar situation where they've got something going on with them? If they have no idea what it is, and the medical community is like, right? What would you say?
Don't give up. Don't listen to the doctors. If you are feeling something, pursue it. Go try to get as many other opinions as you can, because I got told by so many doctors that nothing was wrong. They looked me up and down, and because I have negative EMGs, they say nothing is wrong.
Right.
They were basing everything on. So I would say if you are in serious pain, don't put yourself through that. Seek help. If you're feeling something, you know something's wrong, keep trying. Do not give up, because it is one of the worst things was the confusion in my head, thinking that I was crazy. I literally sat there and thought I was crazy because I am experiencing all this pain, yet I have these doctors telling me nothing is wrong. While the whole time I knew something was wrong. Nobody could not tell me. And what it took was me to just have that talk with myself and say, which is better, you being here or not? Because
Yeah.
it got to that point, you know, and it's just something that I would not want anybody to go through.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Listen, that's a lot. I thank you. Right. One last thing. This one's not as difficult, I hope. I would love it if you come back here after you've gone through and you've gotten approved at your hearing or before, and give us an update.
I absolutely will. And how can I continue to do that?
Just come back to our show. We're here every Wednesday,
Okay.
right?
I know.
And make sure if you sync up with us as a member, or drop your email address in the chat here in the Zoom room, and we will make sure either you're locked in as a member or get you set up. Okay.
Thank you guys
We'll
so much.
get you that information. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, my friend. God bless you. Thanks so much for stopping by. I sure hope it was helpful. All right.
Very
Bless you. Bless you, Joe.
thank you guys.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you. Can I give you my email?
Yeah, you
Yes,
can
you
put it
can.
in the chat. Yep.
Put it in the chat. Yep. Here in Zoom.
Okay.
Yep.
Um,
Actually, your full name, email, and phone number if you want us to set your membership up in the chat. Make sure you don't put it in the public chat for the show because you'll have a bunch of people calling you. Okay,
okay. Thank you, guys.
you bet.
All right.
Okay. We have, I don't know if you folks have time, but we have Julie that is waiting. Has she submitted her question?
She hasn't. And actually we also have like few more questions in the comments. I'm not sure if you would still have the time for that, but I'm
I'll
okay.
go another, 5 minutes or so. Yeah.
Yeah. So the question here from Rude Rabbit, would withdrawing from 401k during the SSDI claims process be adverse?
No, it's not earned income.
Okay. And then another one, I have two different physical therapist rehab tell me I'm a liar, basically. Oh, I think it's just a statement. He's just agreeing to what Joe said. Yeah. Do you have time for Julie? Should we let her
Let's,
in?
yeah, we'll just see if Julie we'll spend 2 minutes with her and see if we can help her out.
Okay. Oh, there. Oops.
I think Julie's left the building.
Yeah, it looks like she left.
All right, good. All right, let's wrap up. Thank you, folks, for your contribution to today's show. Philip, Nadine, as always, it is a pleasure.
Of course.
And for those of you that may have joined late, this is one show that I encourage you to go back in a few minutes and listen to the replay about the changes that we are doing here at the Disability Digest to better serve you, help you get your benefits approved fast, keep them, maximize them. So yeah, and we'll be back here next week. I believe next week, yes, we do. We have a guest speaker, industry expert, Mr. Michael Sexton. And Michael is going to discuss with us the importance for disability applicants and recipients to make sure that you are consciously aware of, and I'm using my hands, I'm French, this is how I talk. Hang on. Of documenting all of your limitations, like all of your cognitive limitations. It could be brain health limitations down to your physical limitations, all the way through the process until you are fully retired and off of benefits, because this will assist you in getting approved. And when you get your CDR, it'll help you put a lock on it. So he's going to give you some, he's good at this. He represents cases in court. He teaches people how to do this, has proven success and results. So mark your calendar, come back and enjoy the show next week,
All right.
Wednesday,
Looking forward to that.
11:57. All right. Anything else before we wrap up?
Oh, that's it. We had a very good show today. Had a lot of great questions and um a lot of interactions from our viewers. So yeah,
Yes,
another great show.
another great show. Okay, folks, wonderful being with you. It's a pleasure to do this work. I hope you find value in it. Share it. Come back. Until next time. God bless. Be well.
See everybody.